All right, welcome to another installment of the Fragments of Silicon reviews. 4 reviews up this week, as usual. The first of which is Spin Rhythm XD. Enter the Rhythm Dimension, an homage to the classic arcade rhythm games, Guitar Hero DDR. One of those is more accurate than the others, but get into that. Um, with a modern aesthetic and soundtrack, match colors and beats, spin, tap, flick, and flow through the juiciest beats in the universe. Supports multiple control styles, including MIDI DJ gear on Steam. I don't exactly know what MIDI DJ gear is. Like,
Stuff to actually DJ, like mix tables and stuff like that.
I guess that's commendable. Like,
A hell of a thing to program, I'll give it that.
that might be why this spent a few years in early access.
If
Because,
you can see on the trailer footage that just rolled by, it had like what DJ gear
yeah,
kind of looks like.
yeah. Anyway, yeah. So this is a rhythm game. I definitely say more in the style of, say, Guitar Hero, or more accurately, Harmonix's PlayStation 2 endeavors, the likes of Amplitude or Frequency. You remember those?
Kind
Um,
of.
yeah. Also, also sort of reminds me of Audio Surf.
Hmm.
Um, in certain regards, but it definitely does have its own flavor of uniqueness. I will say this did not remind me at any point of DDR.
Yeah.
Because while we don't have footage for this uh, playing here, in real time, you can still see the trailer. And like I said, you look at this and you're probably thinking Guitar Hero,
Yeah.
or maybe DJ Hero is the
Yeah,
more
I was just
accurate.
about to mention DJ Hero for all of the, 10 people on the planet who played that.
DJ Hero 1 was fairly popular. I mean, it was
Yeah.
popular enough to get a sequel.
Though we don't
Now,
discuss the sequel.
but anyway, yeah. Like I said, this looks like the Harmonix Guitar Hero layout, um, and it is. But the way it operates, I can't exactly say I've ever played a rhythm game that does what this game does exactly. Certain aspects, yes, and that's how it handles a lot of the notes. You know, as expected, the notes are the little red or blue dots
Hmm.
on the um, fretboard, let's call it. And like the footage shows, you do have to match the um, blue and red portions to the notes. And what you might not be able to discern from the footage is how this works with the controller, and that is the the small dots. You just have to hit, but the bars, the bits that look like the bits on the dial, you actually have to press. I think it was the A button to around the time the things line up, which once again is keeping in with other rhythm games, especially like Guitar Hero. That's how Guitar Hero and a lot of Harmonix games work. You know, you hit the buttons in time with the um, music, and you get scored accordingly. That's like a portion of this game, but the biggest mechanic is probably the spin mechanic. Um, because you will come up on portions where it indicates to spin. And I'll say spinning took a bit of time to actually get to grips with. Because the tutorial doesn't really teach you all that well, in my honest opinion.
Unless it's one of those, it's assuming you actually use like DJ gear and not a controller.
Possibly.
Because just looking at the stuff on the trailer footage, it looks like it does kind of flow seamlessly for that.
Yeah.
But I can imagine like that will be hard to map for like a normal game station controller.
It's not hard. It's just it doesn't tell you right out how to spin. Because it's like to spin. I'm presuming on the actual turntable controls, you'd have to use the second DJ record thingamajig. I don't know what on a proper controller. You have to spin. First, you have to rotate with the left analog control, and then you have to push the right analog control in that direction to actually spin. And you're not gonna. And it's like it's only really activated like close to one of the gates.
Yeah, that sounds awkward.
Yeah, you'll get it after a bit of time playing the game, but yeah, I won't lie, I was not doing too well until I figured it out.
Yeah, it definitely seems like they meant for you to play with this with a like DJ turntable.
Yeah, like I said, when you figure it out, yeah, it works fairly well. You know, maybe not optimal, but on a controller, which is what most people are going to have. Did not try this with a keyboard because look at it.
I imagine they would probably demand mouse control for spinning and not like full keyboard only.
Possibly, but and part of the challenge is spinning the right way because you spin left and right at various points, and one of the ways to build up your score meter is the longer you spin correctly, the more score you build up. And also there are like it gets layered. Like, you will have multiple spin attempts. Sometimes it'll alternate direction. Sometimes it's in the same direction, which, yeah, it's like if you hit it without spinning, you'll stop spinning. And yeah, that's about it in terms of the actual mechanics. Yeah, I think the thing that's lacking here was any sort of special, like going back to the Harmonix's Guitar Hero and whatnot, star power. You do well enough, you'd be able to do star power and, have a bonus for doing well. I didn't see anything like that in this game, and if it's there, it's not pointed out in the tutorial. As far as how difficult this is in terms of rhythm game, variable, it's got 5 difficulty modes. I played at easy because I'm not the best at rhythm games. But yeah, it's got easy, normal, hard, expert, and brutal XD. I think I got through about 20 levels. Because even on easy mode, this can get intense. You do have to pay attention, which actually can be a bit of an issue at times because this has happened to me with other rhythm games. You get into a rhythm, you get into a groove, and it becomes a bit automatic. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when they sneak in and want to bust the pattern. It's like, oh, here's a block you have to press a button for. That kind of thing. And you were just doing the weave maneuvers. As far as the music selection goes, it's a fine selection, though probably nothing you're going to be too familiar with unless you're plugged into the indie synth pop or EDM scene. Like if you know what bands like Touch Touch Child or Hyper Potions or Panda Eyes or Tokyo Machine are, this is coming across as the equivalent of a Wipeout soundtrack, honestly. Just replace mid 90s underground techno artists with vaporware artists of today and the like. Still good. Like, oh, we do have a commenter.
Yeah.
I'm like, not enough playtime. Trust me, for a game like this, it was enough playtime. It wasn't exactly a 40-hour RPG that I was dealing with here.
Yeah, this one seems kind of more like something you'd pick up and play in bursts.
Yeah, it's it's the kind of game where after about 5 minutes, you're gonna understand what this game is offering.
And probably have a good idea if you're gonna stick with it for the long haul, like something like Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Or if it's
also
gonna be like a weekend endeavor every now and then.
Yeah. Also, our amount of play sessions are whatever we determine.
Yeah.
This will come up with the other game I got this week because I spent about an hour on it, but that was definitely enough for a game of its nature. But we'll get to that when we get to that.
And this didn't break software wise or anything like that, right?
Yeah. I'm like, my point is 2.5 hours on a game like this, plenty of time.
Did you at least get through most of the opening song set list or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, I was unlocking songs and stuff like that. It's like, and as far as how it stacks as a rhythm game, it's a good rhythm game. Maybe not going to replace Guitar Hero or DDR, but
at least Guitar Hero still has the multiplayer factor, where you and a couple buddies, especially now, most of us being adults, get drunk and be loud and annoying. When this one doesn't seem to really have that.
That's enough for first impression. I'm like,
I mean,
it's
fair, but
see, here's the nice thing. It's my review show, so however many hours I determine is the amount of hours it is for a review. It's nice when you can make the rules.
Yeah.
Anyway, as far as but sorry, I was getting off track here.
Yeah.
Getting back, no, it's I think where that would apply is to the DJ aspect of it. Because, this really does seem to geared for those who really, really liked DJ Hero, but wish it were more authentic, I suppose this is about as close to a DJ Rocksmith. If you don't know what Rocksmith is, that's Guitar Hero, but real.
Yeah. It's Ubisoft's Guitar Hero, and they decided, hey, why not just use a real guitar?
Yeah. That's Rock Band or any one of these rhythm games, but you use the real instrument for it. And that's the case here, except not as intense. You're not, once again, I didn't have the actual gear for this, but it's not stopping me from reviewing it.
I'm looking at the thing they're showing in the trailer. Did you have a chance to look on eBay and how much that is?
No,
going because for about $200 for something you'd be basically using as a controller.
Yeah, like I said, it's not something you'd buy for a controller for a $20 rhythm game.
Yeah, this seems like almost something more like you could use to practice with the DJ thing if you don't have any I guess quote unquote DJ gigs.
It's tying into the real DJ aspect of the product here. It's more, you already have these things. You can use them with this game that we made.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like something you'd run out and go buy, drop $200 to $300 on a DJ thing if you don't already DJ.
Uh-huh. Because otherwise, yeah, you're probably not going to drop that much money on something that's, first of all, not meant to be for a game. MIDI DJ turntables, that's for music production.
Yeah.
And they also recommend touch-sensitive jogs among MIDI DJ turntables.
Oh yeah,
so
it's not mandatory, but like all the trailers and stuff on the thing prominently shows the Pioneer DDJ equipment, and judging by how the controls are mapped for controller, it kind of looks like it recommends something like this. But I can see it not being mandatory because, oh god.
Yeah, my point is
oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, if you're into DJing, then yeah, I can see this being an especially high recommended purchase because at least it seems like it would go well with the turntables. Once again, it's not a thing I could ever review because I'm not going to ever spend $200 on equipment that I would use at best for this thing and never again. Because I am not interested in making, synth pop or whatever.
Right.
It's like, so it's a nice extra, but thankfully it's perfectly workable, if a bit obtuse on, a regular controller, which is far more likely to be had.
Yeah.
So, with that in mind,
apparently it plays best on mouse and keyboard.
I'm like, I went with controller because once again, looking at this, I could see it. I could see it in the spin mechanics if you're using mouse or to guide that because you playing audio surf with a mouse was very accurate. To cite one example, but I just instinctively went with a controller with this because I'm thinking amplitude here.
Yeah, fair. I could see that. And I'm seeing having controller prompts come up even with DJ stuff plugged in, so I could see making that assumption.
But yeah, it's a solid, and unique rhythm game. Because
also, it did mention it was coming out for the Switch. I could see this being, if they actually implement Joy-Con support, I could see this be really interesting on the Switch.
I'm assuming you mean motion controls?
Yeah.
Maybe gyro?
Gyro, or flick a Joy-Con to get the thing to spin. That could be interesting.
This is one of the developers of the game that's watching us right now.
Huh.
Possible. Like I said, I think the issue of perception with this particular title is the note and the virtual fretboard.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna it invokes harmonics maybe a bit too strongly, without having a stronger visual identity of its own outside of the big dial and back, which does become apparent as once you start actually playing it. Mm-hmm. But just from an eyeball perspective, I suppose you could say, it does look a bit derivative. That's not a that is a critique, but it's not a knock against the game, because that is a handy bit of visual shorthand. Because if people are going to know rhythm games, yeah, Guitar Hero, Rock Band, yada 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 is one of the first things that they're going to think of.
Yeah, like looking at the trailer footage, if they cropped out the dude playing with the DJ stuff on the sidebar, I could easily try to summate, oh yeah, this is Guitar Hero 5.
Yeah. And yeah, the actual backgrounds are more evocative of, say, Audio Surf or the PlayStation 2 Harmonix titles, which were much more abstract than the like real world quote unquote band stuff.
Yeah, like a Rock Band or Guitar Hero Post 3.
No. Apparently the Switch version has gyro controls. Like and you can use the Joy-Cons to play the game currently. Let me see if the Switch version is actually out right now.
Yeah,
because we're reviewing the PC version because that's the copy we got. So we tend to focus in terms of the system we got.
They're saying it's not out; it's still in development. But you can, if you have like a Bluetooth dongle on your PC, you can connect the Joy-Cons.
Okay. Well, that confirms that one of the developers is watching us right now. Like, because how else would they know this?
I mean, be fans of the game.
The Switch version, if it's not out, how would they know? Like, unless they said it in some interview.
It wouldn't be surprised.
Like, or something. You know, or put it out on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, they just play the game. It's
okay. Okay.
We have learned something.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd be kind of interested for this, like on a mobile Switch thing, just like plug some headphones in, and if I'm like waiting for something, just kind of waggle away at it.
Yeah. Apologies for that. It's just sometimes we've had the actual developers come to our channel and talk about the game in the chat. Sometimes it's community people, you know.
Yeah.
So, and it's not one of those things that you can identify at first glance.
Yeah, unless the Twitch name is the studio name.
Yes. We've had both happen.
Yeah.
And display. So
this is part of why I put the game tags on the reviews.
Yes. Anyway, so getting back to Spin Rhythm XD properly. Now we come to the portion of real evaluation, I'd say, because this is where we look at the price and determine if it's worth it at that price. It's kind of our ultimate stamp, if I'm being honest, because, like I said, this is a fine rhythm game. One of the better ones I played, just overall. It's perhaps a bit too specific in its focus to get the full experience. Like, you need to own real DJ equipment, which is a step beyond even having a plastic representation of this instrument.
Yeah.
So that is
you didn't have a chance to test it on mouse and keyboard. You just used controller, right?
Yeah. But that's mainly, like I said, that was a me instinct, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Because,
do you even have a regular mouse on your laptop, or do you just use the trackpad?
Oh God, I have a regular mouse.
Some people don't, because they just game with a controller, so it's better to ask.
I'm like, no, because I play proper PC games on this thing as well.
Fair.
Like, I'm not, I'm not playing Hrot with a touchpad. God, no. Like a boomer shooter with this thing? Plus, like this mouse here only costs like $10.
Yeah.
It's a wired mouse, but putting that aside, this game clocks in at $20. Its soundtrack is Volume 1, available for $9.99. No bundle. That is something that I imagine would come down the line.
Oh yeah, usually like when all this stuff is ready, not shocking bundles come out.
Like,
Also, it did mention a custom music creator. Did you get a chance to at least look at that, or?
No, because I didn't feel like importing anything.
Oh, it lets you import your own music? I know some of them, you either have to fully make your own tracks or, stuff like that. Or use their own inbuilt tracks and make your own maps for them.
Yeah. Hang on, I think Galix is with us.
I am.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just finishing up review number 1. We've got community folk in the chat.
Indeed.
That's nice. Yeah, this is... So, what did you play this with?
We were just talking about that. I played it with an Xbox Series X controller.
Okay.
Because
clearly this is quote-unquote designed for a spinny controller.
Well, apparently the community's been saying it works great on mouse and keyboard and also Nintendo Joy-Cons.
Okay.
Yeah. It's also compatible with actual MIDI DJ equipment.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about more or less. But you could probably also do it with some other.
I mean, maybe you could do it with the DJ Hero controller, but I imagine that would require some actual hacking.
Yes, because I don't believe it was released on PC.
I'm like, probably not. And, keep in mind, those controllers came out in, 2008, 2009?
Yeah, so that would involve some creative joy shenanigans.
Yeah. So it's something that, because it's on PC, you can do, but you're going to have to put some effort into it. On an effort scale, it's probably easier to use the real equipment. So anyway, this game clocks in at $20. Is it worth $20? Yes, I would say so.
I guess with the asterisk being if you're a fan of rhythm games.
Not just rhythm games. The type of music that they're offering here,
Fair. Rhythm games do live and die by their soundtrack.
Yeah. It's like, that's where I'd say this takes after DDR more than Guitar Hero. Because, Guitar Hero is famous for having things that you would strum on a guitar. Which includes a lot of rock songs.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be playing Through the Fire and Flames on something like this.
No, you're not gonna. You're not gonna get Dragon Force or anything like that here.
How do you do the tap inputs versus the slide inputs?
I'm assuming. How do you spin?
No, so there's the spin. There's the smooth curves of things, and then there are the individual dot pegs.
I'm not exactly sure what you're asking.
I think those you just kind of run over, like the little...
You just have to run over with the matching color segments?
Yep. Yeah, I explained this at the beginning.
No, I assumed you did, which is why I was trying to just ask quickly.
Yeah.
I'm like,
sorry, I have the one video of the guy playing it to go by.
Yeah.
Because this was $20, we didn't have an extra, and we only got one copy of the game. Petty is our guy who broadcasts out the video footage. So if he doesn't have the copy of the game, we resort to the trailer footage.
Also, even if I did, there's no way in hell I'd be running something like this on stream because copyrighted music. I know a lot of it's probably
just run it without any sounds. Just have people see what's going on and try to figure out what the fuck song you're playing.
Yeah.
Maybe one day if we ever get drunk, Petty.
I'm like, we'll keep that in mind. But anyway, like I said, you do have to have a certain musical bent to buy this one, I think. But like I said, it's gearing itself towards that audience.
Definitely.
Because it's like I don't imagine a heavy metal fan buying this strictly on the music basis.
Yeah. Like I can see some rock songs being like configured for it, but yeah, if you're like a fan of Guns N' Roses or Metallica, God no.
Well, I mean, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking like Swedish death metal or
God.
Things that are much more affordable for an indie rhythm game.
Yeah.
Like Guns N' Roses and Metallica, and like that's something that only a big time studio could ever afford.
Yeah, that would be something like if they were partnered with Harmonix or whatever.
Yeah.
Which that would be kind of awesome.
I mean, I don't think even the Harmonix of today could afford that.
Fair.
Or maybe they could. Maybe they could because now they're part of Epic Games. More the Harmonix of a few. That made Fuser. Not the Harmonix that made Rock Band, because that Harmonix had actual music industry connections. They got the Beatles in one of their games.
Yep, it got its own title.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately does not exist anymore, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I think that recently went offline.
Which is unfortunate, but such is life after 15 years.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's about it on Spin Rhythm XD. So be sure to tune in after the break, as Petty Fan will be reviewing Downhill Madness.